Organizational Change and Development. My name is Chantel, and here I have a summary of the key points we focus on during a 15-week course at CUNY School of Professional Studies. We dealt with organizational change and we examined theories of effective change implementation. We looked at Lewin's change model, content driven change versus process driven change. Now, these support change in that Lewin's change model is actually a model that they use to create an awareness or a need for change within organization. In it, they have the um, freeze, unfreeze, and freeze strategy, whereby they create awareness, they make the people aware of their employees aware of the need for change, and then when they reach a state that they desire, they freeze again. We examine mutual engagement and share diagnosis. Um, in this section, we look at the importance of open communication, teamwork, collaboration, and conflict resolution. Now, these four together is foundational for any change implementation to work, because in order for people to get on board and support you in a change, you have to communicate with them, and they have to be comfortable communicating with you, and there must be trust in the organization, knowing that they will not be retaliated against if they say something negative. Teamwork is a must. Collaboration is definitely, especially where there is need for major changes in an organization and departments need to come together and work to make it happen. That is important. Also, when can we see change without conflict? They say conflict breeds change, and of course, conflict resolution is a must in order to move on. We dealt with data collection and methods of data collection, SWOT analysis, and Lewin's force field analysis. And all of these are important in change management, because we need to collect data from time to time to know what our employees are thinking and how they're feeling towards work and different goals or changes within the organization. And we learned that they can do surveys, they can there are various methods of collecting data that an employer can use that will make his employee feel comfortable with giving information regarding change. SWOT identifies the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats associated with a company. And Lewis force field analysis kind of does the same thing. Now, both of them just identify the good and the bad and try to see, and a company can use this for change to see where they can make their weaknesses strengths, or create changes that will eliminate weaknesses or guard against threats in the work, in the business, in the field. We dealt with organizational redesign, and we looked at the various types such as informal and formal differentiation and integration. We looked at organizational structures, centralization and decentralization, and we looked at change pilots. And change pilots is integral to change management because it helps us to test out a change or a theory to see if it works with the organization without obstructing the entire organization. If it has a negative effect, the entire organization is not affected by it. It is tested out on a small department or a few people, and we can remedy and perfect whatever change we're trying to implement. Informal design is good to also test change, because this prepares our employees for the formal official change that will come. Reinforcing new behaviors. We dealt with organizational structures. We looked at bureaucracy. We looked at the matrix organizational structure. We also examine leadership power in support of change. We looked at motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic, and motivation plays an important part in change management because sometimes we need to encourage our employees to, go the extra mile and get on board with us and do a little bit more. And this is how we can do it. Not everybody gets excited with extrinsic motivation, which comes from outside, but sometimes what drives them is what they can get personally from inside them for completing or being successful at work. Then we discuss pay for performance and the impact of technology on the future of organizations. We discuss leadership, and we talked about leadership versus management, and we recognized that leading is totally different from managing. And this is important in change because people don't follow managers. People do what manager says. People follow leaders. People are going to follow someone with a vision and a goal and who can convince them that this is where they need to be. And we examine the leadership skills and qualities that successful companies have, and we recognize that they're totally different from managerial skills. We examine contingency leadership and newer models of leadership such as charismatic, authentic, servant, and ethical. We looked at adaptive and cultural leadership. And each type of leadership plays its role, but all may not be good for an organization at a specific time. For example, contingency leadership is where a person goes in to do a certain task because he is this type of leader. So if somebody wants a particular change, they bring in a particular leader because they know they can get it done. Then we have adaptive leader. This is one person who can adapt and change with the times and help people to adapt and change with the times or whatever changes are going on within an organization. We looked at emotional intelligence, which is important for leaders to have because this will help them to set themselves apart from the employees, understand the employees, and to also deal with them and reach them where they are. It was a great class and I enjoyed it very much.